First up, Dennis, congratulations as far as your nephew is concerned, Danny.
Yes, the genes came through, Rob.
Does that mean he's now retired, so he's going to come and help you on the farm?
I don't think so. He's getting $2 million a year, and I don't think I can quite stretch to that sort of salary.
The 2 years, but there was all those noughts afterwards.
Yeah, all those noughts. Yeah.
No, well done and congratulations to the whole family, because it'd be an absolute buzz for you guys.
Absolutely. We're very, very proud of him. Yeah, he's done us proud.
Yeah,
and
good.
The country.
Owning a crop sprayer, speaking of money, they do pay for themselves?
Yes, they do, Rob. You know, there's lots of things that farmers purchase, cropping farmers purchase, combine harvesters and things like that. Well, that takes a lot of investment and a number of years to pay its way, albeit that it's quite lowers the stress if you've got one there rather than waiting on a contractor. And of course the contractors do a good job, but the same with a sprayer.
They can't be everywhere at the same time.
They can't be everywhere at the same time, and of course with sprayers, it's it's either can be raining or not so much at the moment, but certainly blowing, and a lot of contractors can't get there. So farmers need their own sprayer to be able to get up early in the morning when it's not blowing, to do the business, and to really take some of the stress out of the thing, to capture those opportunities that exist when, and I would sort of liken it to the Australian wheat crop. Every year the Australian wheat crop's 23 million tonnes. And then it disappears over time through various things, through locusts, drought, frost, you name it. And so it settles down at a sort of 13 to 19 million tonne crop. Now that's exactly the same thing that happens on a cropping farm. You start with first of all you sign the contract and you choose your paddocks, you put all the inputs in, you then start to think about the seed, the establishment, and all the way through, and you have this big crop, this promise of a big crop. It's about like a game of golf we've talked about earlier. Yeah. It's going to be the best crop you've ever had, and then it gets taken away by slugs and you name it, drought, disease, all sorts of things. And so much of that is needs to be sprayed and controlled and looked after, whether it's foliar fertilisers, straw shorteners, fungicides, all sorts of things, weed killers, all have to be put on, wild oat grass killers and things like that, put on at the right time, at the right stage to save the crop, to save money and to save contamination, to look after that soil for the future. So the sprayer, if any farmer is going to intensify their farming program, and we've talked about growing barley, and you could put your whole farm in barley and go broke. So you really need to be looking at some of these higher value crops, and farmers are, and therefore they need to have those numbers of sprays. Where a barley crop you might spray 3 times, some of these other intensive vegetable crops you may be spraying them 10 to 13 times. So this is where the crop sprayer...
You sort of pay yourself, don't you, really?
Yes, well, they talk about opportunity costs. You're paying yourself, you're capturing the full potential of that crop. You're not letting the 23 million tonnes turn into 13.
Yeah, good line, very good line. Yeah. How's the bee world?
Well, the bee world and spreading pollen is the big concern at this time of the year, and certainly the beet family, and we're talking about the silver beet, the red beet, and the fodder beet. They all have volunteers that do come into those crops, and that pollen is spread by wind, which is far more dangerous than the pollen spread by bees, because it can travel in the wind probably in excess of 4 kilometres, and I've heard up to 7 kilometres the pollen can spread. Now that can be pollen from silver beet in the home garden that is this time of year goes to seed. Now that can contaminate commercial crops of red beet and silver beet and fodder beet, although the fodder beet's not being grown for seed, and there's the bolters in the fodder beet crops that can also travel and contaminate.
7 k's away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, does that mean that you should be talking with all your neighbours and saying, I'm downwind of you, or I'm upwind of you?
Virtually, I'm sort of giving a wee bit of a warning to some of the home gardeners now with the silver beet that's running to seed. Is please chop that out, because inadvertently you could be affecting some commercial fields within 4 kilometres of you. So, yeah, pollen in the air can be very dangerous. You know, the bees are a bit more controllable, and we know where they fly and how far they fly.
That's good.
Yeah.
What are the crop farmers doing at this time of year? Because it'll be pretty busy with disease pressure and...
Well, basically they're chasing irrigation. They're becoming a slave to irrigation. They're worrying about their allocations and whether they've got enough to last the season. They're strategically working out which crops they can or can't water to their full potential, which one's the most valuable ones, and trying to stay compliant with ECAN within that allocation. They're certainly spraying their crops, rushing around doing those sorts of things. They will be monitoring crops, and they should be monitoring them very, very regularly, because this time of the year they just change. Maybe twice a week, go around every crop twice a week. They change. They can, all of a sudden there can be aphid in there that weren't there 2 or 3 days ago. Sort of almost fighting fires to keep that 23 million tonnes.
Yeah, I like that sort of that terminology, because you've also got irrigation splash working against you.
Yes, well, you're generating some of the disease yourself, creating conditions for things like sclerotinia and botrytis in some crops with the warmer days, and you're putting in the moisture. You get this humidity from within the crop, as well as the classic scald in barley and septoria in wheat, which are spread by rain splash. Yep.
Now, white clover?
White clover, time to shut up white clover. Generally, before the Christchurch shows, we talk about that grass seed around the sort of middle of October, clover sort of early November, and making sure that all the bugs are under control. There's the aphid, there's the potato mirid that can get in there, and sometimes where farmers have irrigated, there can be quite a bit of pepper spot come into those crops, and you can see individual plants really struggling. A bit of carbendism looks after that, but certainly it's time to allow the clover to regenerate and to run, room for those runners to run and flower.
Brilliant, Dennis, thank you very much indeed.